In 1997, Apple aired a commercial in which they said, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." This quote is written on the wall of my office. It serves as a constant reminder that God wants the world to experience His life-changing love, and He wants to use ordinary people like me to accomplish this. I first felt God draw me to full-time ministry when I was in second grade. I wrote a short book called Missionary to the World in Fulfillment of a School Assignment. It was a fictional story about me preaching the message of Jesus and giving Bibles to people in China. A couple of years later, when I was 10 years old, I began to dream of pastoring a church. I'd sit in my mom's kitchen and draw thousands of little dots on a piece of paper, and the dots represented people who would one day hear the message of Jesus. It was at this time that I began to preach at my family in the living room on a weekly basis. And shortly after graduating high school, to fast forward a bit, I became enthralled with the writings of C.S. Lewis. I began to dream of writing books, some theological, others fictional. I realized that Jesus always spoke to people by telling stories, and so I began to dream of doing the same thing. I once heard somebody say, "Whoever tells the best story shapes the culture." I want my life and my words to tell that kind of story, one that actually shapes culture and moves people toward truth. To be quite honest, I'm still figuring out what God's calling on my life looks like practically. In fact, I'm not a huge fan of the verbiage calling anyway. I think it's been very manipulated in our culture and in our world, and church culture specifically today. I do appreciate how Fuller provides the disclaimer that vocation is formed, not found. In other words, we're constantly growing and trying to figure out what God has created us to do here in this world. I enjoy ministry. I serve as an associate pastor right now, but I am definitely realizing more and more that I think the Lord's drawing me towards actually being a professor and writing books one day. I love to travel and speak. And one day I have no idea how God's actually going to weave together all of these dreams and aspirations, but I believe that He will somehow, and in His absolutely perfect timing. And I'm also hoping that Fuller can actually help me in this process of figuring it out. So a few months ago, I was encouraged by a friend to write down a mission statement for my life. And this is what I came up with. I want to live a life of extravagant faith, hope, and love. It's based on Paul's statement in 1 Corinthians 13:13. The world desperately needs the love and hope that only Jesus can provide. And I want to do everything I can to lead people to faith in Him.